Welcome to another episode of Capital Kitchen. Today we're making this delicious, amazing ham and broccoli soup. This is an ultimate comforting, delicious, hearty soup. It's great whether it's hot outside or cold outside, and I'm gonna show you how to make it step by step right now on Capital Kitchen. We're going for that warm and cozy feeling. There's nothing like a good ham and broccoli soup. So let's get started. Here's some of the ingredients that you're gonna wanna be using today. And first up, we're gonna set our stove to max heat. We're gonna start getting that hot. We're gonna get a pot ready to go. This is gonna be the pot we make all our soup in. The first thing that we're gonna start with is our protein. We're gonna start with our Capital ham sausage. I hope to God they gave me ham sausage because I didn't look in this bag to double check. We're gonna be using Capital ham sausage. This is perfect because it's cooked and ready to go. It's already smoked, it's already tasting good, and all we gotta do is cut it up and use this as the base for our soup. So that's what we're gonna do today. I always like to cut the sausage in half first, and then cut it in half one more time, okay? Okay, so now every time we make a slice, it's already just gonna cut it into these quarters for us, just like that. Okay, and so we'll cut across, and I'm not exactly sure how much we're gonna use. Beautiful, just like that. And the rest of this here, we're gonna save for another recipe. So in our pot, we're gonna go in with a little bit of olive oil. That's because our ham sausage is pretty lean, and so we wanna get a nice color on it and fry it up good, and we don't wanna burn it. So we're using some olive oil today. We're gonna take our ham sausage, we're just gonna throw it right in. We're gonna give that a good stir. We wanna brown this on all sides. We wanna make sure everything's nice and coated, and then we're gonna use that olive oil for some onions right after we take these out. One of the ways that you're gonna know when the sausage is done is you can hear it. It's not gonna be sizzling quite as much, so you know that you're right at the last step of the browning process. So we're gonna go ahead and take this sausage out. We're just gonna set it aside in a bowl here. Now, you know me, I love the browning at the bottom of the pan. We're gonna wanna pick that up. We're gonna use a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. And we're gonna take some of our nicely chopped onions here, and we're gonna drop them straight in. You can see how it starts to pick up that color, and as the onions sweat and release some of their moisture, it's also releasing those browned bits at the bottom of the pan. If you want to, this is also a good time, you could add a splash of white wine. White wine's always really good for deglazing. You could add a splash of water. So keep an eye on them, stir every now and then. This is gonna give you a good chance to chop up some garlic, and that's what we're gonna do right now. That's gonna be just fine. A rough chop, just like that, okay? We're gonna take this and we're gonna throw it in with our onions. All right, so while things are sizzling away and we're starting to smell our onions and garlic, now's a good time to add in our flour. So I got just some regular all-purpose flour here, and I'm gonna throw in just a couple pinches. Now, if you're not sure how much flour to add, less is more. It's better to underdo it than overdo it. This is just to add a little bit of thickness to our soup base. If you don't want your soup to be too thick, don't add any flour at all. There's gonna be plenty of starch in our potatoes that are coming up in a future step here. So at this point, if you have chicken broth, you wanna go ahead and add some in. I'm gonna be using some bouillon, and I'm gonna be using some water. So I'm just gonna add my bouillon in now. Nice big scoop here. Got a lot of soup coming. And I'm just gonna kind of stir that in, and we're gonna top this up with some water. Now we wanna add our potatoes before this starts boiling. Usually when you're cooking potatoes, you wanna add them to cold broth so the outside and the inside come up to temperature at the same time. So we're gonna add our potatoes right now. For potatoes, you don't have to be too picky. You could really use any kind of potato you want. I have some chopped up fingerling potatoes, the same kind we used in a previous episode for our potato salad, but you can definitely use russets if you peel them. Careful not to splash too much here. So now we're gonna bring it up to a boil uncovered. This might take 10 minutes, it might take 15. It all depends on how much soup you're making and what kind of stove you're working with. But this is a good time for us to prepare some broccoli. All right, so we're gonna use some broccoli florets today, and we're just gonna chop these up. I like when these little, like, I don't know what you call them, the little sprouts on the end of the broccoli, they kind of get a little lost and they end up coloring the soup really nicely. So if you're a fan of that, that's what we're gonna be doing today. So we've let our soup come up to a boil. We've also cooked our potatoes enough so that they're fork tender. That's where when our fork hits the potato, they split nice and easily. We don't have to apply too much pressure. We know the potatoes are perfectly cooked. Now we get to do something fun. So we're gonna use a hand blender. This is a bit of a crazy tool, but they're not too expensive. This was only about $20 or so, and they're pretty easy to find. We just got this at the grocery store, and we're gonna use this to blend up our soup. Now, if you don't have one of these and you don't wanna get one of these, you can use a potato masher, you could use a spoon and just be diligent. You could also just not blend it at all. You could leave the soup how it is. But for us to get that creamy, smooth texture that we're going for our ham and broccoli soup, we're gonna blend it up. We want this to be fully immersed in the soup before we start blending, and then we're gonna lessen the chance we make any kind of mess. We also wanna keep the blender straight. I really should not be doing that with my finger over the button. That was the craziest thing I think I've ever done in my life. I actually felt my finger get chopped off the moment I did that. I just went, wow. I put my, okay. This is not a toy. We gotta be safe with these. Now I'd turned down the heat for that blending process. We're gonna turn it back up. We're gonna check to make sure that we like the seasoning. So I'm tasting for salt, and I'm also gonna make sure I like the texture. If I want it a little bit thicker, I'm gonna add some cornstarch or flour. If I want it a little bit runnier, I'm gonna add a little bit more broth. The soup can take quite a bit of seasoning because it's a lot of potato, a lot of water, you know, so it's gonna vary depending on what broth you use. Simply, we got our chopped broccoli florets. We're gonna add them to the soup. We're gonna let this cook with the lid on for about 6 to 10 minutes. It depends on how big you cut your broccoli. I cut them into really tiny little bite-sized pieces here, smaller than bite-size even. So we're gonna add these in. Once they're cooked, we're good to go. We got our soup. Go ahead and add your chopped broccoli in and let things boil for a few minutes. We then want to go ahead and add a good splash of heavy cream and some old sharp cheddar cheese until we like the color and overall cheesiness by taste. Lastly, we can finish our soup by adding in our delicious and crispy pan-fried ham sausage that we reserved from earlier. Honestly, can't be easier. I love making soups because you could leave them on, you can kind of clean up the kitchen, you can do other things while you're cooking. And then after, you know, you take the lid off and you're ready to eat. It looks so delicious. It's cheesy, it's creamy. We got broccoli in there. We got the smoky, delicious ham sausage. I can't wait to plate it up. And there we go. I put a little bit of extra ham sausage on top. We put a little bit of cheddar cheese on there, just as a little extra garnish and for some color. And this is ready to eat, ready to serve. I can't wait to take a bite of this. But before I do, I think it'd be even more fun to see what Nick thinks of this. So I'm not even gonna taste this yet. We're gonna get Nick's opinion.
All right, we're gonna do it. We're just, if I take too long, in the past, Alex has given me a hard time, so here we go. Oh boy.
Wait, are you serious or are you acting right now?
No, this is really good. This is perfect. I'm gonna make this. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. As soon as it hits your tongue, the salt level's just right. You taste everything. You taste even potato. And then it finishes with this nice, smoky, salty taste from the sausage. This is such a good soup. So simple, very few ingredients. You're not gonna believe how easy it is to make this soup. You're also not gonna believe how good it tastes for how few ingredients are actually in it. I'm gonna stop rating things because I'm always giving my own recipes here 10 out of 10 and it's starting to not mean anything, but you really should give this a go. Really, really highlights the ham sausage. It's very, very smoky in the best kind of way. Even though we got some crazy hot temperature right now and the earth's on fire, you know, it's not too hot to enjoy some ham and broccoli soup. So no, this is awesome. Thank you guys for leaving comments and liking the video and sharing the video, telling your friends. We really, really appreciate it. And with that, I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I've been your host, Alexander, and we'll see you next time.